Welcome to my quick video tutorial on how to make a pocket pillowcase. Today we will be using a block from my humdinger pattern, which will be available in October 2023, along with some great fabrics by Sue Penn for Free Spirit Design, also available in October of 2023. You can get the pattern, order a kit, find charts and other helpful information on my blog or by using the links in the description below. Once you have the front of your pillow ready, whether you're going to quilt it or not, you're going to square everything up so that it is nice and square. Mine is going to turn out to be about 24 inches square. There's a really handy chart on my blog that you can use on pillows that are anywhere from 16 to 26 inches square. So be sure to check that out. But in this video, you'll see me using a measurement for a 24-inch pillow cover. Now that I'm all squared up, I just need to find what fabrics I'm using for the back of my pillow. So these will create the pocket on the back. I'm choosing to use two different fabrics just because I really love these, but you can use two of the same fabrics, whatever you'd like. Once you have your fabrics selected, you're just going to stack them one on top of the other so we can cut both to be the exact same size. And a general rule here is that if your pillow is 24 inches, you're going to want each half to be 18 inches tall, which is about 3/4 of the size of the cover. So first I just got a straight edge. Now I'm going to turn it and cut it so that each piece is 18 inches tall. Next, I'm going to open these up and we're going to cut the width. I'm going to be a little bit picky on this because I really want this butterfly to show on the front half of the back of my pillow. So I'm going to cut these separately. You can stack them again if you'd like. But since my pillow cover is 24 inches unfinished, I'm going to cut this width to be 24 inches as well. So go ahead and cut both of those pieces to measure 24 inches by 18 inches. Or if you're using a different size, you can measure again by taking 3/4 of the height of your pillow. That will be the size of each half of your pocket, and then the width will equal the same width as your pillow cover. Now we'll head on over to the ironing board and we're just going to make sure that both sides of our pockets are pressed nicely before we go on to pressing our finished edges. So taking one pocket at a time, we're going to use a nice little ruler to fold over our edges. This will make sewing really easy. So we're going to fold under, wrong sides together, a 1/2 inch, and this is going across the width of your pillow. So fold under a 1/2 inch and press, make sure you're still in the right spot, and then do that all the way across. Now that we're folded under a 1/2 inch, I'm going to fold over again, and this time we're going to fold an inch over. So in the same way, I'm just measuring that inch, pressing, checking myself to make sure I'm on track, and then pressing across the entire width of the pillow cover. We only need to do that on one long edge of each pocket, so we're going to do the exact same thing on the second side, and then we will be ready to sew all our pieces together. And just as a reminder, I have a great little printout for you so that you can watch this video and then print out the cheat sheet, take it over to your cutting table or your sewing machine, and you'll be all set. Now it's time for us to set up our sewing machine. I like to use a really long stitch when I do top stitching, so I'm going to go all the way up to 3. And then I'm going to move my needle over. This is because I'm going to use Bernina's number 5 foot, which is a blind stitch foot. You can use it in the same way that you would use an edge stitch foot. I'm going to include a link for the edge stitch just because that's the official correct foot that you would want to use. But if you have a number 5, you can use it in the same way. Just make sure that your needle is over far enough that you don't hit that blade. So here you'll be able to see it working close up. As you can see, there is a blade on the bottom of that foot, and I have my needle all the way over to the left, one so that it doesn't hit the blade, but also so that it catches the fabric, because you can get so close to the edge that you miss your fabric sometimes. So all the way over to the left, and then we're ready to stitch. Again, this is just a long straight stitch, and all I'm doing is keeping that fabric right against the blade of my presser foot. You can use any foot to do this. This is just my preferred one because it makes a really, really straight line. So all we're doing is stitching along the edge that we folded over in our earlier steps. And we'll do the same thing on our second pocket top. So here we go from a different angle, just so you can see the foot a little bit better. This is the second pocket top that we ironed. And we're doing the exact same thing, just a nice straight stitch. So now we have all the pieces we need. We have our front and our two pocket pillow bags. So what we're going to do is place our front on a flat surface, right side up. If you have a preference of which pillow pocket is showing on like the front of your back, put that down first. So for example, I really want that butterfly to be seen, and so that will be on the outside layer. And then this fabric I don't care about quite as much, so this will be on the inside layer. So when they overlap, the second fabric will be a little more hidden. So we're just lining up all of our corners, getting everything really straight, and then we can pin. I don't typically like to pin a whole lot, but it is important to pin these because they do shift, especially on a big pillow cover. So I like to get all four corners down and make sure that the pocket overlap is nice and flat, and just pin it like crazy. Now we'll head back over to the sewing machine to finish all of these parts up. If you haven't already, put your machine setting back to how it was, just a centered needle, a smaller stitch since we're holding pieces together, and just a regular presser foot. We're just going to use a 1/2 inch seam here. Then you're just going to stitch the whole way around the pillow, removing pins before you sew over them, and that's all there is to it. And as with anything that is structural, you're going to want to make sure you backstitch at the beginning and the end. Now I'm going to clip my corners here. This will help us get a nice pointed corner when we turn it right side out. And now we just turn our pillow right side out. If your corners aren't looking very sharp, you can get a pair of scissors, ideally one that's not too sharp because you don't want to cut your fabrics accidentally, but you can use a pair of blunt scissors to just kind of give a little extra poke from the inside that will help make those corners a little bit more crisp. So now it's time to put our pillow form in. Generally, your pillow form is going to be white if you purchase it from a craft store. Mine is just an old pillow that I'm no longer using, so that's why mine looks a little bit different than yours probably does. It's also really easy to make a pillow form out of scrap fabrics. Generally, the rule is that your pillow form will be about 2 inches bigger than your pillow cover. So because it is bigger, you need to be careful as you're stuffing it. Even though it looks like I'm going fast, this is on double speed. I was actually quite gentle. You don't want to pop any seams as you're stuffing. So you'll kind of squish around everything till you get a nice even pillow. It might take a little bit of punching or squishing overall just to keep it from getting lumpy. But your pillow is ready. It's now easy to wash. If there gets anything on it, you just pop the cover off, wash it, and pop it back on. I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. Don't forget that you can get a printable cheat sheet for free on my blog on how to do this, and you can also order the pattern or a kit as well. And thank you so much for joining me, and I hope to see you on our next tutorial.